we wanna do the December minutes first?
Do you have them?
I think I got them, yeah. I'd have to read them anyway, so just give me a
Well-
second.
How about read them out loud and then I could hear that and I'll go with that.
Okay.
They're long minutes.
Attendance.
I have them printed if you wanna read them.
Okay, if he wants to, yeah, do you wanna read them? He's got them
Except when I
printed.
had those another.
It doesn't matter. It'll be quick. Board members present were Mike, Sullivan, Tim, and Dick. I was absent and Randy was not here. Was Randy already appointed by
I
them?
believe that
Okay, that
this
was,
was the last meeting.
no, December 11th.
No, he was not.
So I don't know if he should be included as a board member if he wasn't. Motion to approve the minutes of November 6th as amended, motion by Mike and seconded by Dick, and it was unanimous. In reference to the minutes, Tim noted that he had spoken with the acting town administrator regarding the commission's request for $25,000 for the FY27 budget. Seth had recommended that they instead seek a special article so that the funds will roll over at the end of each fiscal year. A motion to approve the meeting minutes of November 19th, made by Mike and seconded by Dick. Dick, vote was unanimous. Motion to approve November 24th, made by Mike, seconded by Dick, unanimous. And motion to approve December 8th, Mike made it and Dick seconded it, and it was unanimous again. We discussed the joint meeting with the select board on the RDIC charge. On December 8th, the RDIC met jointly with the select board to review their charge now that the Economic Development Commission has been dissolved. Overall, the members felt that their efforts over the years have not been recognized by the select board. Mike was particularly bothered by a comment made by member Leah Whitman when she stated that the commission had received $6,000 in funding towards their initiatives over the years. Mike encountered that some of that money was proceeds from the tree clearing at the Heights. However, he argued that the RDIC had brought in millions of dollars with the sale of parcel 8 at Harmony Place, along with the projected tax revenue. In addition, he highlighted the site improvements made at the Heights property as part of the development of the 55-plus community, which comes with monetary value. Mike proposed adding information to the website to highlight progress at Harmony Place and the proceeds generated by the RDIC. The other members were amenable to the proposal and advised that Mike could work with the TA's office to get the information posted. The
Recording
members
stopped.
also suggested sharing meeting minutes with the select board to improve communication between the two boards. The initiatives on town-owned property, the board was in receipt of a comprehensive list of all town-owned property that had been collated using the Mass GIS system. Not all properties are available for development, for example, schools and cemeteries. However, the members would like to look further into parcels number 5 and 15 on East County Road. More specifically, they would like to confer with the assessor to determine the property value of each parcel. With regard to tree clearing, they would like to see the Ag Commission oversee this effort. Bounds at Harmony Place, Mike proposed having bounds installed around the property at Harmony Place since the town was the previous owner and had not done it prior to the sale. Tim indicated he would reach out to Quinn Engineering to get the names of the 3 surveyors from whom they can request quotes. The plan would be to pay for the survey regarding the using the funds, from the RDIC special article approximate balance of $12K. Mike had reached out to the DPW director to inquire as to why the streetlights have never been turned on along Rutland Heights Way. He was told that it's simply because no one had asked them to be. Tim replied that he will reach out to the director to ask that they be turned on for safety purposes. The RDIC charge, the acting TA has provided the members with a draft charge that was revised. Based on the discussion had with the select board, the members want to spend some more time reviewing it and will further discuss at their next meeting. An adjournment made by Mike, seconded by Dick Williams.
She's reading the minutes for me.
Oh, from December 11th.
That was December 11th.
Yep.
January 15th.
Oh, wait,
Okay. We haven't even opened yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So
Sorry, I'm late.
we should open now and then,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I'll open the meeting at 6:14, and I apologize I'm late. I could give you stories upon stories about Ford trucks, but we'll just not do that.
Found and repaired daily.
No, you go
Fix or
pick it up at the
repair,
repair shop, and then it doesn't start,
Oh, geez.
because they say it's done and running. Oh, by the way, yeah, that's a cam sensor. We'll order that. It'll be there tomorrow. Yeah, well, anyhow.
Okay.
So December 11th's been read. Any questions, comments, corrections?
No, I made
I
the
do.
Okay.
In the bottom paragraph where that I was upset about the comment Leah made when she stated the commission had received $60,000 in funding towards the initiative over the years. And I'd like to add to that, because this is what she said, and what has the town gotten, received for that? What have we gotten in return is probably the simplest way to say it. I'd like to add that.
Okay, that's an invitation.
Anybody have any problem with that?
No, I heard the same thing at the select board meeting
Okay.
on Monday. I'm pretty sure that's what I heard out of them.
So,
I'll make a motion with those corrections. Accept
Second.
those minutes.
Got a motion and a second. I'll ask if there's any other further discussion. All right, take a vote. We don't have anybody on Zoom, do we, correct?
No.
It's just-
Oh, we don't
Being
know if anyone's
recorded.
on Zoom.
Oh,
Did we post it with a Zoom link?
no,
No.
Zoom, we're being recorded.
Okay.
yeah, just recorded, but I just want to check. All right, ayes?
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, that's 3-0-1.
Yep.
All right, excellent. Let's go to January 15th.
You know, what, might I make a suggestion, or we have guests here that we
Do the minutes after.
Jump.
do the minutes after and.
I'm fine with that, we can move January 15th off.
Yeah.
I don't wanna speak for my partners here, but we don't mind.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's no reason.
No, there's no reason, we can do it afterward, it doesn't have to be done at the beginning. I'm
Alright, so
okay moving it.
We'll come back to January 15th.
Yeah.
So the first order of business is resident inquiry for seeking land for potential business opportunity. And I think that was Nancy Sierra.
Yeah, did
No.
you see the note from Tamika? She sent a
No.
note saying that she was unable to attend.
I did not see that, okay.
It was late.
One of her sons had COVID or something like that.
All right, so we'll put, I'll have Tamika move this to,
It's already been.
she moved it to the next meeting?
To the next meeting.
Okay. Let's talk about the RDIC charge, or better yet, before we go to that, because that might be a little in-depth, does anybody have a problem moving to item 5 with Harmony Place since they're here?
No,
I'm good with that.
Not me.
Okay, let's do that, we'll move to item 5,
okay.
and, Mike, I guess I'll let you start it out, and then, or
Yeah,
Warren.
why don't we let Peter or whoever, you folks, tell us why you're here and how nice it is to see you.
Thank you. My name is Peter Campobasso. I represent and work with Harmony Place, and I'm sure you all know Ron and Laurel. I understand that we have updates on these meetings, and talking to Mike, we felt it would be good to come and do one in person, because we feel like with everything that's been going on at the site, we'd like to talk about some stuff that's happened in the past, give you an idea as to where the project's at and what you can anticipate this year, in hopes that we can talk about a couple of issues that we are probably going to be requesting some help on. So, this project started, we were talking, I think we started back in 2020 or 2021, between the RFP and the purchase and sale agreement and making everything work, and then going through the permitting process with the HPDD board. But what's really happened is the transaction, the closing itself took place in December of '22 through January of '23. Everything was official February of '23. A lot of the questions that we've received, or that Harmony has received, is why there's been a little bit of a delay or a lengthy delay in some of the things that have took place. But the primary reason that the project had a delay in getting started was we had some unanticipated, unexpected issues with power and the utility company. After the closing happened, we started with the easements for the power lines and what have you. And, The process actually took from March of 2023 to October of 2024, where we were without the ability to connect power and generate the site. So that really was a major setback, and it caused a lot of ripple. And to get into the specifics without getting too lengthy, initially it was the right-of-way and the easement that's required for, the underground utilities that get installed. There was confusion over the easement plan. They wanted a subdivision plan. They couldn't understand the difference between the driveways and the roadways. I personally had to deal with the legal department. That took us through, I think, July or August before they finally accepted the plan. That's when we were able to finalize the typical utility easement that you grant to the utility for them to have the right of way to run their power lines. Once that was done, it was then starting the process of getting the trench things lined up and all of that. One thing led to another. By the time we got through easement plan, the power coming from Maple up Rutland Heights Way, one department would not release the power order until each step was done prior to it. And we finally got the right-of-way part of the National Grid to go to the power side of National Grid. And that was basically in March of 2024, when they finally said, okay, we'll start processing the order. And then, once we got there, that's when we found out the transformers were nowhere to be found. And one thing led to another. So it was very difficult because work was lined up, work had to be put off. Started to figure it out, okay, we think it's gonna come in by here, line work up, gotta put work off. And with construction sites, if you can't keep your subs and your contractors busy when they're scheduled, they move on to other things, that pushes you back. So that's really the problem that caused a very substantial delay. And when you put it in perspective, it was probably a good 18 months before they could actually get started in earnest.
So excuse me, Pete, but the right-of-way was March 24th, March of 24?
We started requesting information to National Grid in March of 23.
But you got the permit.
We got we got the easement
Recorded with the Worcester Deeds
Yeah.
by March of 2024,
for,
yeah.
Okay. And then the transformers arrived when?
the transformers were ordered. I believe we started to request the transformers prior to March of 2024. And that's when they said, well, we can't process that order because we don't have the right of way. Which was, if that's how they are set up and if that's how they work, then that's how they work. But Laurel made unbelievable amounts of different attempts, connections, contacting everybody and anybody to see how can we speed this up. We're supposed to be proceeding. And the real problem they have is, obviously when we negotiated the purchase and sale agreement, the land development agreement, everything was triggered on when do you think you're gonna start.
I think it was based on the first building permit, was it not?
So we anticipated starting the project sometime in the summer, April, May of 2023. And based on that, when we were negotiating the timeline, it was like, okay, well, we'll give you a little bit of a window, and we'll say by September 1st of 2023, that's when the 4.5-year commitment starts. So that's really something that's coming into focus now, because they lost that whole year and a half where they weren't really not able to do any type of work at the site, any meaningful work at the site, as far as construction and getting units done. So there are sections of the purchase and sale agreement and the understanding we have that so many units have to be completed by 4.5 years from September 2023. And because of what's happened with the setback with the utilities, my sense is that we should probably reinvestigate that and renegotiate that and get some type of an extension to that. I didn't want to wait till the last minute. I think what you're going to see this year is you're going to see some progress, but trying to complete 88 units within that time frame, it's not realistic. And I think it's a reasonable request. I did start to go through my emails. I've been doing that for like the last few days, just so I could, highlight certain trigger dates. And when I went through my notes, I went back as far as March of 2023, March 23, May, June, July, August, September. December of 23 was when we finally got them to agree to the easement plan. And even though they agreed to it, we had to sign it, return it to them because they didn't want me to record it. They needed to record it themselves. It turned into February of 2024 before we finally got all that reserved. And then once we got from there to there, then we started with where are the transformers, Finally, we got told like sometime in June of 2024, you're like everybody else, when they come in, we don't know when they come in. Then we were told they came in September, and it's like, you have them, great, when can we get them? Well, we don't have a delivery date yet. And I think they finally showed up sometime at the end of October and finally out. But that process really was a major setback.
So we actually had gone to representatives, we'd actually gone to the Department of Public Utilities. I mean, we tried everything. We even went to the municipal power company in Sterling, and they were willing to give us
Right.
transformers and take the ones that came in. But there were so many hurdles with that. I mean,
Grid doesn't accept that spec. I
yes,
guarantee you.
exactly,
Yeah, no, that-
exactly.
I work for Eversource, so I know
Yeah,
exactly
so
what you're doing.
that's what Mike had said,
When-
yeah.
When Laurel had located some alternative transformers, that's when they got back to us. It's like, yeah, sorry, we don't
You
work
gotta have that
with,
spec.
we don't work with those technical. And I'm like, what, a transformer's a transformer, it's
Yeah,
power. It's
really.
like, yeah, no, it's not.
Excuse me,
you know,
just for point of reference, Randy Jordan's our newest member. Peter Campobasso, the attorney for Harbor Classic, Ron on the end, and Laurel, and both from, sorry.
But at least they knew we were pulling out all the stops, and because we were, we were consulting with everybody, we think that had a positive impact on their responsiveness, even though it was,
It's just a slow process. I have to do this. I'm on the gas side, not the electric
Yeah.
side, so I gotta get easements on private property for gas. And I have to start with our right-of-way attorneys a year in advance.
Yeah.
Because that's just the process.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's the way it is. I learned that the hard way, because my previous company, we get easements in 6 months, 4 months, but now with utility, so.
It was quite the process.
And you're right, I can't move forward with construction bids or anything until I have that easement recorded with the Worcester Registry of Deeds. If it's Worcester, somewhere else, it's whoever.
Exactly.
but getting them to actually tell you, is what you provided acceptable? What do you need next? I mean, it is just like.
Because they have to
plenty.
go, they'll get it, and then they have to route it through
Right.
engineering, and then engineering's gotta get back to
Right.
them, and that's a whole process in itself.
Yep.
Sorry, I know the
No,
process really well,
and-
because I've been doing it for
And some of it
6 years.
is certain, like I was only allowed to speak to certain groups. And when I would ask, hey, is it possible for me to
They
talk
won't
to
let
one
you
of the
get into that
engineers?
group,
Oh,
no,
no,
you can't get into that
you
group.
can't go there, so.
And then we had another issue with a couple of our units, UAP came up. They said that there might be a toxic site nearby, that And so they pulled their installers off, they wouldn't install, and they had to do an environmental report. And of course, they said it would be ready by the end of November. We didn't see it until, I can't remember, maybe the end of December.
Almost the end.
Yep, so, I mean, so that's another 2 months in that unit that we lost.
Did they find
in that
anything,
building.
or
No.
So-
Of course, it was
It was-
closed in 2016.
it was a
Well,
report?
where did how did the inquiry even originate?
A
This is the
lot
first
of,
I've heard.
times what will happen is when someone does a phase 1 investigation, they just look at public records. And if they, like if you go to Mass DEP's website, you can look up a site in Rutland,
Yeah.
this notification, that
And
notification.
they'll have every notification going back decades on it.
Stuff pops up and somebody will say, ooh, this was reported back in 2000, what happened? And then, until you really dig into the weeds, and depending on who's doing it, it can take a little bit of time.
And the experience level, that's the
Exactly.
thing you're finding out with utilities, you don't have 30 and 40-year-old people.
So it takes a while to filter through this information, but,
So I know everything that I've had to deal with lately.
so that's why,
So help me, that's
some of the frustration that
my beginning.
was being expressed in 2023, the project is very well received. There's a lot of excitement about the project within the community, outside of the community, because I think if you really try to do your homework, with this particular age group up, there's not a lot of housing that's available for, people that are transitioning to their, no kids.
Careful of that word.
I was gonna say, no kids at home, this, that, and the other thing. And so initially in '23, there were buyers lined up, and it was hard for buyers because they had to wait a very long time. But there was a significant delay, which, there was nothing anybody could do.
And some buyers had to walk away
So-
because they couldn't wait, and that was
So it-
difficult for everybody.
But once things started to actually process, just to give you an idea, from the end of November of '24, so far to date, 9 units have been sold. 10 are currently under agreement to be sold. And
In addition to the 9?
so,
Excuse me, but how many are occupied?
right now, 9 are occupied.
Okay.
10 are under agreement. There's gonna probably be 3 to 4 more closings by the end of March, beginning of April. And then, at this time of year, it's not the most active time of year for sales, but I think what you'll see is you'll start to see things pick up now in a much better way. And some of the stuff that's planned for this year, which,
Just before we get off the electricity, or the delay, what I'm hearing you ask is, would we consider taking a look at that date?
yes, exactly.
Could
because-
you, I don't know if anybody else would feel the same way, can you just put together a very simple document that says, started here, ordered this, blah, blah,
Yeah.
just some bullets, nothing fancy, that we can sit together and look at and say, okay, now I understand it. And
Yeah,
Tim can say, yeah, that jives with the kind of problems I've been having, and.
but you guys were under a hell of a time, because that time we couldn't get transformers either. Because nobody in the US makes transformers anymore, they're all made overseas, mainly down in South America or in China. And we were in the same boat, I had jobs sitting there with no power, because I couldn't get transformers.
Right, exactly.
So,
And I mean, Peter, seriously, nothing fancy, just
Right.
literally bullet page.
Because I will, I'll do that, because I do wanna submit some type of a formal request
yeah,
that we extend the
Okay.
4.5 years, because the way I calculated it, the start date was September of 2023, 4.5 years would get us to February of 2028. And that's just too tight of a window, and I'd rather deal with it now,
Yeah.
so we can see how things go. So I will do that, Mike, yes.
Okay, thank you.
And then, as I said, so, they do have good progress in phase 1. Part of the issue with phase one, we have to complete phase one before we can move on to phase two, so we're hoping that within the next year and a half or so, phase one will be done, we'll get all the inspections, but my point is, some of the other amenities really weren't scheduled. They calculated things to go along as units sold and what have you, but they've committed, this year, if you're familiar with the site, you may have already seen, the clubhouse is gonna go in this year.
Pickleball courts.
Pickleball court will go in this year. Some of the gazebos and the dog parks will start to go in. There may be some work on the walking trail, but not sure just yet. We'll see how the rest of the winter goes.
Peter, what is the number for the first phase? Is that 44?
40 units in the
40
first
units,
phase.
okay.
Yeah. 40 units in the first phase, 54 units in the second phase. But out of the 54 units, 48 have to be added on to the first phase to get the 88
Yeah.
number complete within the first 4.5 years.
Okay, so I'm new to this game,
Yeah,
so you set a deadline and we agreed to it, or
No.
why do I care when you sell your house?
no, we didn't set the deadline, the town.
Look this way, Randy, and blame me.
So he did it, that's why he's wearing a mask?
No, it was a negotiation to make sure that we would have progress
Yeah,
with the development. So, some developments in Rutland have taken 10 years to complete. We didn't want that to happen with this. We wanted a timed approach to how this was gonna do. So we did 3 phases,
yeah,
and within 4.5 years, there had to be 88 units, which was basically phase 1, and a large chunk of phase 2 done.
So in 4.5 years,
88.
you have
Basically half the units.
agreement with them to do it, and if they
Yeah.
don't make the 88, what happens?
we started to.
There's
pay a
financial
penalty.
They
impact.
pay us $3,000 a unit that's not built.
Yeah.
Well, let me just back up and explain the
Of the
reason why.
88.
Yeah, of the
Of the
88,
88.
of the 88.
On
not
the
all.
unbuilt units. So the reason for that was, when we were trying to decide who the vendor was gonna be, one of the concerns that I had as part of the negotiating team was, we award them the project, and it takes them 20 years to build it out. Well, our return on it is the recurring revenue of real estate taxes. So that's why in the agreement, we said, you gotta keep this pace, or it's gonna cost. Otherwise, we'll consider having someone else do the project who says they will do that.
So he pays less tax if there's no home built on it, or is?
No, he
He
pays
pays
the
no
tax.
tax if there's
Yeah.
nothing built, but the town receives no revenue.
Correct.
So the incentive for the town is that they build their units.
And if they don't in 4.5, that 3,000 per, 88 isn't built, is the makeup cost of what the town's anticipated tax rate was gonna be,
Well,
or close
Have you
something.
built this project like this in other communities and had the same consequences? I mean, we can't change what happened, I'm just asking.
I've been involved in projects where these things of that nature have been assessed differently. Not like this. This is the first time we've had a project where it was basically worded so that units that are started substantially to the point where if we pulled a building permit and foundation frame, that would be considered started. Okay, so, right now, when you take the 88 and you subtract out the 20, we're left with 68. And when you look at the time frame, it's this year and next year, which is not, I'm not saying that it could not be done, but the reality is more than likely it won't be done. And we didn't want to wait until the last minute to come in and say, hey, we need some help. We'd rather bring it now and address it so that they can plan accordingly And it's a better way to approach it.
So these homes that are being built, you're paying tax on that open space.
So, right now, the way it works with the real estate taxes, when the land was conveyed by the town to the RDIC to Harmony Place, it would be like any other land transaction. But it was basically raw land, unimproved land, so they've been paying real estate taxes on the property ever since they've owned it. As you develop the land, so because this is a condominium complex, as new units come online, once a certificate of occupancy is issued, that unit is now taxed as a single-family home.
A greater value.
And that brings in
More,
real estate tax revenues to the town, because now each unit is being separately assessed a real estate tax bill. So the understanding with the agreement was, look, how long is this project gonna take? We don't know, it could take 8, 10, 12 years. You know, there's a lot of units that have to be built, have to be sold. We don't know what the saturation rate is gonna be. You know, you might have gung-ho for the first 40, 50, 60 units, but after that, who knows? You know, we didn't know what the saturation rate would allow. So, the way it's working right now, as the new unit comes on, because of the way the state has allowed the municipalities to tax, as soon as that occupancy permit is issued, that's when you can start assessing full value. So, but prior to the occupancy permits, the town has the plans that are recorded, and, you know, each sort of unit now gets a tax bill, and as construction commences, the improvements have a certain value, so that when there's a foundation and a frame, it's worth more than $1. When there's insulation and sheetrock, it's worth more than $2. So revenue comes into the town as the project moves along. You don't get the full value until it's actually completed.
According to the assessor, she goes over there every 3 or 4 months and says, yeah, okay, that one's 50% done. You gotta
So
assess
we're not really trying to change the terms. In a perfect world, if things had gone according to plan and they had started construction in 2023, had power and had all of those things in place, we would be in a different position today. But they literally could not start until, in earnest, they couldn't start until November of 2024, which was a good 14 months after the September start.
are you entitled to go back to National Grid?
Good luck with that.
I'm just asking, I mean,
You can
let me-
go to DPU, you
let
can
me
do all
tell
that
you,
stuff, but that's gonna work out for you.
We've had many a discussion with National Grid, and we would be, I don't even know if my grandkids would have an answer from National Grid by the time we got around.
They get a bill from you.
They would get a bill, yes, but
I
I don't know
guarantee
if we
that.
have an answer for that. So no, we would not be able to go back to National
And
Grid.
if you turn the clock back, you may not have built this in Rutland versus going to Sterling or Holden, where they have a municipal department that can act faster than a larger.
That's always a possibility, yes.
But they might not have had the demand that Rutland might have had too.
Right. There's a lot of factors that go into it, so, but the fact is that they're very, you know, I think, as you can see, as it starts to make progress, it's gonna be a good partnership between Harmony Place and the town of Rutland. And it's gonna be a very good project, very good development as it moves along, so.
All right, so that settles the electric
Yeah.
issue.
I'll just give you one advice, if you have any more of these coming up, this is not the exception to the rule. What you guys went through, that is the rule. Eversource, Unitel, National Grid, that is the way it's gonna be. So next time, be prepared, because it's not gonna change. I'm giving you a heads up just from my experience. That's it.
So just a question to whomever, Ron or Laurel, so when you start phase two, do you need more transformers and so on?
We've already, she's
They're-
already sent out emails.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's already in
I'm
the
not,
works.
I'm not waiting.
okay,
But you got, the beauty, Mike, is they've already got the utility easement, so
Right.
they don't have to go
Right.
through that. All they gotta do is get
Get the hardware.
line crews to basically come out and put them in,
Exactly, yeah.
which, that's a completely different department than the,
Because when we did do the easement in the trench locations, it was for the entire site. It wasn't just for phase
Okay.
one, because if it was just for phase one, then we'd probably experience the same holdup.
okay.
Right? Sure.
How much, so you said you did some of the stuff out of order, like the clubhouse earlier than you anticipated. How did that work, like, when were you gonna put the clubhouse in, like in phase two, phase three, when it was finished?
We were gonna do the clubhouse earlier,
Okay.
but we just got the foundation and now is.
Oh, cause it was just part of the delay, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
the foundation's already in, and I'm getting ready to frame, hopefully next week, but we'll see what this weather brings.
Okay.
Because their timeline, they were anticipating starting like in April, May of 2023. Factor in a year, and then April, May 2024 might have been a little bit better, but it was actually the winter of '24, which luckily that year was not really a bad winter, but I told Ron in August, I said, Ron, I have a funny feeling we're gonna have a bad winter this year, we're due for one. Lo and behold, boy,
what the farmer said it was gonna be the almanac,
Yeah.
the last almanac, actually.
So let's blame Randy.
Oh, no. He's got enough on his shoulders.
Just so you, Randy is Jordan Dairy Farm.
oh, wow.
It's a big fan, biggest around,
And Mr. Williams has farming background too, don't let him fool you.
yes. Which I allow Randy to use my property there to feed his animals.
Just to put it in perspective, how many head do you have? Roughly.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Just to give you an idea, and,
Wow.
okay, what's,
So then,
I'm kinda pushing you along, cause I'm fading.
that's okay, so I think what you'll see is you will see a pickup in activity at the site. One of the other issues that we're trying to deal with is the irrigation article that exists in the town.
Policy.
We started the project, I think, in 2020, 2021 timeframe with the RFP and negotiating. And in between all of that, I guess the article pertaining to irrigation was changed in '22 to not allow underground sprinklers. And then in '24, it was amended again to impose the penalties and things of that nature. So, as it stands right now, they would not be able to put in an underground sprinkler system for the site.
Even if you had your own artesian well?
That's a different thing.
That would
That
be,
would be the option.
that's one of the options.
That's the option, okay.
You can't use town water to put in a sprinkler
The
system.
way the article is, it does allow an exemption, so that if you do have a private home, you can hook a hose up to your exterior faucet and run one of the old-fashioned type sprinklers, but it just doesn't allow the underground. They're, you know, whether or not the site would have adequate well to handle the irrigation for the entire site is something that they're looking into. I don't know if it's gonna be, we don't know if it's gonna be viable yet. And the thought of trying to regulate the class of individuals that live there to go out and connect their hose and run their sprinkler system for the site is obviously problematic. Some might be able to do it, others might not be able to do it, others may not do it. So we're trying to figure a workaround.
Then you'll have the maintenance too in the wintertime, or before, when you gotta blow it out,
Yeah,
light it
exactly.
up, that whole thing.
Yeah, so we're trying to figure out a viable workaround where, you know, I don't know.
You have a well on the property there, it's still there, is that correct?
I don't know if there's a well.
That was a wishing well?
No, there was an artesian well,
There's a well up there by the flagpole
yeah.
that was drilled when they took the building down, 'cause I've been up there to hay around the field there, and it was all for dust control,
Yeah.
and it was a big volume water
Yeah.
that's there, and I don't believe they took it out.
No, it was still there, when I was brush hogging up there, it was still
I didn't hear
there.
what he said.
Near the
Yeah,
flagpole?
Yes.
I'm gonna say it's about 300 to 500 feet from the
Because
flagpole.
one of the parts of the project is to maintain the flagpole.
Yeah,
Move the flagpole up by the clubhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which would leave that well there by itself.
No, the well is
Artesian well.
Is-
Still-
quite a ways.
From the pole, okay.
I'd like to know where it is, because I don't know where it is.
Well, once the snow goes away, you probably could find it. It seems to me when I'm driving out, the flagpole is sitting there and the well between the road and that, it's sitting right there.
So if you go up and,
Between the extra road and the
And
flagpole, not the one we put in.
Not the road no, I'm
Your
talking,
access.
yeah, the other access
It's up in
road,
that area.
yeah.
Is it on which side of the road? It's on their side of
It's
the road.
on their side of the road. It's already on your
between the
property.
between the tarred road that was originally there
Yeah,
Yeah,
and the flagpole,
yeah. It's
I
in
would
there.
tell you 12 o'clock if you're looking toward Paxton Center,
Randy, if you got a
Now
map
he's
right
talking
there,
like a farmer.
right by the big rock.
or Dick,
Yeah.
put an X. If I had a pencil, but I don't. I got pens.
So that's
No, we walked
the
that
entry
This
is up on
is-
the top.
We-
Where's the
we-
flagpole?
yeah.
Flagpole's down by your
that's my
right elbow,
biggest concern.
down there
Yeah.
somewhere. Up a little higher, I think.
It is marked on that plan, the flagpole. It's inside of one of the units, actually. The flagpole.
Should be, the flagpole should be in one of these units.
So that's gonna be
I
through
have my
their house,
glasses on.
Hopefully the well isn't in one of the houses.
There's a bunch of holes in that statement, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I
that's,
mean,
Here's the road coming in,
But in
and this is the one that goes down. so
roughly
the
where is
flagpole's
it?
gotta be
Let's
right up
just-
in here.
It shows it on the plan there, I
Just assume the flagpole is right where
So
your
this is the
fingers
old
are.
road, Dick.
Yeah,
So this is the old road, and if the flagpole was here,
yeah,
right,
Yeah.
relatively close to this
Yeah,
road, it's
yeah.
gonna be right here,
okay.
right? Maybe off here a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little bit, I thought it was right over
but
here.
it's inside the dotted lines,
Yeah,
correct?
over here.
Well,
That's a,
Right
I've
there.
never seen that before. I just saw that well, I was looking for the flag.
it says well. Barbara just got up, don't you?
I'm looking for the flagpole well.
Well, right now you got the well,
No,
flagpole.
that's a well.
I think Mike paper punched it out.
Yeah.
The flagpole should be up here a
I
little bit.
didn't think it was quite that far over, because I thought it was close to these units, because we had to move so far over because of this
The-
400 foot.
Yeah.
This was the beautiful part of the field, the way to move quite a ways over. I thought it was in one of these units right through here. I
Well, at
just
least
can't
we
see
know
it.
now.
Well, you've got
This
to
is
draw,
good.
on existing drawing that's recorded, it says well, so.
Yeah,
And you're right, Randy, that was a big volume
I mean, I can call the guy that drilled it. He lives here in town. He's
Yeah.
not always here in town,
Lives in-
but Brett lives in town, and he would know exactly what.
I mean, they basically had a fire hose running constantly when they were
Well,
tearing
if
the
you're,
buildings
if you're
down.
at dust control, you had to, yeah.
yeah.
It was asbestos.
Just wash it into the,
So that was another thing we wanted to bring up,
Oh, yeah.
because that sort of happened midstream. And hopefully, you know, hopefully they can look into this well part of it, and that might help us as a workaround for that bylaw, for that
I
article.
don't
Did
know
you
what's
have to
gonna
put
be
in a
inside there,
distribution
because a lot of
system,
kids used to
correct?
put
Yeah.
things in there. So, heaven only knows.
put in a water distribution system.
Because what was initially planned was that irrigation was gonna be put in every building for it to be controlled by the association.
Mike, can I see it?
They're not able to do that.
What is,
I've never seen that.
what is?
And figure out
You don't wanna be near
Okay.
As long as there's enough
I also would like
pressure
to,
and,
bring up the fact about the sewer, because I don't want that to be a kick in the butt. And as many times as I've talked to the select board, they're being in charge of water and sewer, and they know about this.
Well, there's also a set amount of sewer capacity that's set
Set
aside.
set aside. I thought it was 35, but they have 45,000 in here. But I don't want them all of a sudden, DCR comes in, hey, no more hookup, period. Well, then town of Rutland is gonna have to start setting up trailer trucks to haul sewer.
Well, the
To
45,000 would take, and this is my opinion, again, I'm not the select board or in charge of that, but if 45,000 is set aside, then that's, the other houses, new houses and A&Rs don't get it, because there's 45,000 set aside.
But we don't, have we heard anything, anybody? And I'm sick and tired of this. Because tomorrow they can be all done, shut off. And DCI, I have asked many a times, have you started buying pipe for the new sewer line? Nothing, not a peep.
They're gonna be in these guys' show up, they're gonna need to worry about easements.
No, what-
That's a
what-
discussion for us to have outside of.
But I'm just saying, I
No,
don't
I
like
agree with
them
you, Dick. I
because,
absolutely
you know, you,
These
I-
are,
you
these
don't-
are, these are the things that happen and they're not anticipated and they do cause problems,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
so I just be aware of it. And personally, I would say offhand, if you do, just keep bringing it up to
That's nice to know, yes, that's good information.
particular people, you know, the new town administrator, because I don't know if she's aware of it either now. So, anyways, okay,
So I think, you know, the big thing obviously is the 4.5 year issue.
Yep.
I think now that Ron has some additional information, Ron and Laura, about the well, hopefully we can discover that, you know, in the spring, when the conditions are a little better. That might be a very helpful workaround for the irrigation, but I'll put together a letter with some breakdowns regarding the Taylor Wall with National Grid, and have a formal request that we, you know, extend that 4.5 year timeframe. Give you some dates and we'll take it from there.
okay.
This is my advice, before you get too many houses built, and you get that well put together, have your engineer come up with the water distribution plans off of that well for the irrigation system. Because that's gonna be, because you've already got water and sewer in there, but now you're gonna have to put a sort of a accessory pipe into your utility space.
Yeah.
That's not there, so just a suggestion.
I mean, I can offer liquid organic, otherwise if you'd like to.
I'd love it myself, I think
I
it's
bet
great.
the grass will look
A
great.
spreader truck, that's part of the deal.
Yeah, you wouldn't like the truck that goes or drives up and down the street.
We'll mention it to the residents and see what they think.
How many people of the 19 homes that you have currently sold are Rutland residents?
I think
Actually, we have,
it's like.
well, I know of two anyway went to school here. And, Unit 13 and 128. They were school friends, and they didn't know it until they were both bought home, because they had moved away, and they're back with family. We've gone through a few of them, I mean, back with Samantha's parents, they were from Rutland.
Yeah,
And
I mean,
they
I
had the-
think it's about half.
I was just
Yeah.
curious about it,
Yeah.
because there was some
Yeah.
scuttlebutt,
It was actually very pleasing to know that's why they came back.
But I think initially I and other people in town would have liked to have seen a greater percentage of that number there. But some of the scuttlebutt that I heard around town was it was more money than they thought the Rutland families could afford to be going from downsizing, but the value of that was up there, but it was really out of your control because of the cost of everything that had gone up. So I just was curious of,
Our houses have appreciated. Like, I've been here for over 30 years, and my house, what I paid for it versus what it's worth now is a lot.
And that's what we find is that people have more equity in their homes than they realize, and that's how they afford the next chapter. But it's still a sticker shock, you know, people are still getting over that.
There was one
but
couple,
all you gotta do is look at a town at condominiums, and you'll find out that,
Price points have changed, you
yeah,
know,
I mean,
dramatically.
you can't
And
find a condo for less than $600,000 or $700,000.
When we go into meetings, when I go into meetings, I'm very upfront about it. I tell, no one's gonna feel bad for a developer, crying poverty. But the cost to build is just, people don't understand how expensive it is to build today.
And the folks who do come to us actually say they are here because they like the project, but they like the pricing.
Right.
So they
Believe it
see a
or
lot of
not, yeah.
value.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think if you haven't learned it yet, there's a reason that people come to Rutland. If you ask the 5 neighboring towns, which town would you like to be involved in for the community spirit of things?
Yeah.
It's 9 out of 10 times Rutland.
Yeah. So one of my dreams is to see the project actually put a float in the 4th of July parade. You know, and have the community, the residents sponsor it, so,
That'd be nice.
yeah, yeah.
That would probably happen.
I actually brought your flyer, your 4th of July flyer to the town of Bethel and said, this is what you people should be doing. So the guys were on Bethel, because I think it's amazing what you guys do.
So, are you,
The second thing,
That's pretty much what we wanted to try to address tonight, and then if there were any questions, we figured, since we're here, we can.
well, the other thing I wanna mention is, Laura, we've talked about this a few times, is you folks setting your bounds of your lots. We don't know where your lot lines are, I don't know how you know where they are.
There aren't lot lines, so I'll just say it to you that way.
Well,
Entire
but there's gotta be, I mean,
legally, there's gotta be some
someone's gotta
point.
know.
No. He's asking it.
A lot.
Physical bounds.
Where
Oh, for
you're
the entire
100.
site.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
site, yeah.
the physical bounds of your perimeter of your land.
Okay,
Yes.
The only part that was in question is where your parcel came in, and then down, I think it runs along the edge of the road, that right away to there.
Yeah,
But as
but
far
there
as
should be
having a
bounds.
monument put in, is the other story.
what I can do, Mike, is I'll make a note, I'll talk to Steve Ballard at Haley Ward, as long as Ron and Laura give me the go-ahead.
Yep.
And at different stages, we can just ask them to put some
Concrete typically what they,
spikes in the ground that way.
Yeah, we don't need
Identify.
phase 1 and phase 2 and we just need the outside perimeter.
The corner.
And we don't need it until the weather gets nice and you can get out there and.
Yeah.
Right now, our intentions are to try and get the road for phase 2 staked out come April, May, because we're gonna be getting close to that phase 2 very, very soon.
Yep.
And maybe that's when something can be accomplished.
Well, I just want you to
Because
keep
it's coming up
it on
through
your
there.
radar
It's
because,
coming right through there anyway,
Right.
right where you're talking.
I mean,
Okay.
you guys know me, I won't forget it, so I won't let you forget it either.
No, because she'll call me and say, Mike called again.
Yeah. Any to the next
So
one.
is it fair for me to ask, and certainly Mike, no hesitation to tell me that I'm wrong,
No, Tim's the chair, not me.
is what are you asking for, so I can at least think about? You're gonna say, hey, I need more than 4.5 years, but yet, we're gonna need 6 years to do what we did because of National Grid delay. I'm just using that as an example, right? And is it fair to us to not receive that, some compensation? Are you willing to do a compromise, hey, we'll give you $1,500, but you're gonna give us 2 more years or something? I'm just asking what you're thinking, so we can think about.
I think that the thought process is that they wanted to ask for that 4.5-year period to be extended to because with the phasing, they wanted the project to be substantially completed after 6 years. And in the agreement, it allowed for extensions, 6-month extensions. So the thought was, okay, well, let's just get rid of the 4.5 years, let's make it the 88 in the first 6 years. And then, then we can say, based on the extensions, let's see if we need another 6 months, another 12 months, another 18 months.
I think the answer to that question, Randy, is let's see what they give us.
So I think we're looking for an additional, so instead of it being 4.5 years from September 1st, 6.5 years from September 1st, 2023.
With zero penalty.
Correct, 0 penalty.
Mhm. I'm okay with that.
Well, it's similar to
And
what
just so you understand the financial, it was $3,000 per unit,
unfinished unit.
unfinished unit, okay?
So my perspective,
Start.
So that if we had, we'll try to keep the math simple so that I can do numbers and, if we had 68 units completed and 20 were not, it'd be $60,000.
so from my perspective, I completely understand where you're coming from, but it's not necessarily your fault or our fault that National Grid stuck it to your wazoo,
Yeah.
right? And at the end of the day, if we are in the financial straps that we are in the town of Rutland, are we able to say, hey, can we come to a compromise? We understand where you're coming from, but yet we can't absorb that pain because we had planned on the income from those homes in that certain period of time. Is it something for you to consider? That's all I'm asking, is to consider. It says, hey, give us the 6.5 years from the September D, but we can't give you, we'll give you something because, well, we gotta do a compromise, right? That's all I'm suggesting to you to consider.
It's called the art of the deal.
Yeah. We're
I
definitely.
can spread it better than most, so I'll get there.
No, that's fair, yes, absolutely.
Because we could ultimately, I mean, in all honesty, we could come in and say, hey, we've got a deal, it's in writing, sorry about your bad luck,
Right.
and you can fight us, right? So
Right.
you can do that, or you make it, we understand where you're coming from, and we're thankful you're still here in town. And I wasn't aware that there was a deadline in there to do it, but yet at the end of the day, I understand why there is now because of the revenue coming into us.
Yeah.
And the meeting next door is, hey, what Prop 2.5 do we wanna do? And
Or how many options are we gonna come up with?
so, you know, that's,
So that's part of the reason why we're here
no,
early,
Yeah.
because like I said, it wouldn't make sense to spring this on you like 6 months before and say, hey, what can we do? Because. It's
you can see
that-
the handwriting on the wall.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So,
All right, more than fair.
He was part of the original negotiations that I was part of, so I'm sure he has an expectation.
The only missing member is Dave George.
That's right. All right, thank you.
And I do hope that somehow that we can try to make the area in front, Maple Ave towards your place, a little bit more cleaner and
So it's
to draw people in and
Yeah.
so help me, I'm just hoping, I mean, supposedly we've got a few bucks and I'm hoping that maybe we'll get some trees cleared and open the place up and.
Yeah.
and
To Dick's point, you know, I've said this many times. If the tax revenue is, let's just say it's $8,000 a unit, and if that were, you know Dean Park in Shrewsbury? You go through the center of town, on the left-hand side, there's Little League fields, and
Oh,
there's
yeah,
a
yeah,
pond
yeah,
and all
yeah,
that,
yeah,
you know, it's
yeah.
dog park and all
Yeah.
that. To me, that left side of the road could be that, you know,
Right.
rowboats, canoes, people fishing, whatever.
Because that's
And-
part of
and-
your,
That's,
agreement with the Commonwealth, so.
yeah, but it would, I believe, it would help you sell units if people come in and say, wow, look at that lake, it's beautiful, it's
Yeah.
even picnic tables and so on and so forth. If there was a way to perhaps share some of the expenses of doing that, how many more units do we have to sell to pay for that?
Right.
You know, 2 or 3, and,
whoa. We'll give him a 2-year extension, he just makes a park for us in the front yard at no
well,
cost.
that's.
There you go, I like you, Mike, you're trying to figure this out, huh? Son of
I
a
was
gun!
just typing that up to Mike.
You don't think I just fell off the turnip truck?
That was her text message, yeah.
I was literally, that's what I was typing to Mike as you're saying. Yeah.
Okay,
next,
Honest to
before
be-
you guys
Just
kick off,
made my
I
freaking
wanted
night,
to-
honest to God, because I was brush hogging one day and I stopped, I said, I gotta get out of this tractor for a while, and I went over and I sat down on the lawn, and I'm looking around, I said, what a hell of a place to sit down to have a picnic, or just to talk, or beautiful this, I said, the sun angle is great. Now you just made my day, that's good, awesome, thank you.
let me give you an update. I've been in contact with DPW director, and then now the town administrator to request that the lights come on in Rutland Heights Way. The last update we had was Monday, indicating they're reviewing it
Okay,
and it'll get back to us, so I'm gonna pass on, this is my advice, I'll let the rest of the board speak. If there's residents that have issues, have them contact the DPW directly. Because coming through the RDIC, then we have to pass it to the DPW. I would prefer the residents, because now they're taxpayers,
Yeah.
contact the DPW directly. That's my advice, and if they wanna contact the TA, please have them do that.
And if they know people who have kids going to the school,
Make sure
have
that's,
those people
yes,
contact.
yes.
That's where you're gonna get the answer.
Because-
That's a strong lobby in any community. yes.
Correct, and that was my email to the TA and the DPW director, it's not just people walking safety, it's children that are walking that street too.
There's
So,
no sidewalk
And no
from,
sidewalk either
there's no
from,
sidewalk from,
in the no man's land,
right,
and there's also no
so,
crosswalk.
so, maybe I'm the half-empty glass guy here versus Timmy, but the challenge is, streetlights are talked about every year here in town, and we don't have any money to turn the lights on, and it's a cost per light to turn it on with National Grid to do it. And but again, there's a compromise with all that, and hey, we'll turn on every other light to physically do it and go from there. So it's gonna be a, you know, you make that part of your community versus, if that's a real concern of yours, you may get a no, or if you don't get a no today, they may turn it off if it's on the public roadway next year because we can't afford it, right?
Right.
In turn, maybe you wanna make that part of your community lighting, if that's one of their concerns. That's
Okay.
just a suggestion.
so, kind of related to all this, what's the status of the remaining parcels? I know you were thinking of,
Probably not a good subject to bring up right now.
They're in a holding pattern.
Well, no, we need a
We're-
two-year
we're-
extension to sell those because we're waiting for you.
that's actually, that's
a
probably
fair
more
statement.
true, that's more true than anything.
so we are partners in all this, for sure.
Correct, 'cause a
Well,
lot of,
basically, we think it would be in our best interest for you to have
100
50
people,
units up there with people in them, and then,
Figure it
a
out.
commercial
well,
developer would
then,
be
you
more
know,
apt
someone's
to.
gonna wanna put a barber shop or a hairdresser or who knows what, I don't know.
It's
Dollar,
quantity.
I'd say a dollar store.
The commercial real estate people that I've talked to, not from Rutland, said you gotta have the quantity,
Right,
before anybody's gonna invest in a business.
you need the traffic.
Yeah.
You guys still
Traffic-
interested
If
in
the
that?
traffic count doesn't
Yeah.
justify it, it's always people interested, so.
I guess I wouldn't have asked if I wasn't, right? I mean, if we're thinking outside the box, I'm looking at you, Randy, we might as well think outside the box.
Some people will disagree with their comments there. I understand where
Oh, many people do.
there will come with that, right? But if somebody came forward, before you came to town, there was somebody that came and says, hey, we'd like to put an office building up for, be a headhunter for, doctors, and kind of thing like that, you know? If they came to us and said, hey, can you do an RFP for this, we put it out, geez, we put a building up there, no kids living here, you know, revenue coming in, people that go uptown and eat at the diner, why wouldn't we do it, right? But there's nobody coming to Rutland, knocking on the door that we're aware of. We have empty buildings in town that we gotta try to fill back up first and foremost. And then we're trying to play our cards right so we can get the largest dollar for us going forward. I think you guys are gonna have a revelation myself, and you're gonna say, geez, this went over so well, and we sold so many homes here, and we love Rutland. We wanna do another 144 units up there as well. I really do. That's my thing along. We've talked about sports fields for the kids for 100 years in this goddamn flippin' town, and they all get their feathers up in a ruffle and physically do that. Yet, do the parents want?
Until they wanna have to execute it, and there goes the problem.
Well, right, or they those people run out of money because their kids have aged out, and why donate any money to that end of things, right? You know, could we have a strip mall that can physically do it, but yet how many of the senior people that live up in your village that are my father's age that shouldn't be driving, right? Do you let them drive golf carts and go down there kind of thing? There's 100 things that could
I hope
physically
Wayne's
build it.
not listening.
He's in bed. But you know what it's just, it's multi-thing, and you know, to do it, and I think we're trying to do our cards, and there's a lot of people out there in the community that say, sell, 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 let's go, and why haven't you sold it? Well, I mean, it took us a long time to find you to be the right fit for us to do it, and I think we're in the right position, we're just trying to make the right move afterwards, and they're downright They want business, but the business doesn't bring any more money into us than a home lives there. We can't afford to have a kid to come to town because we can't, with the school systems, our biggest problem is the schools cost us too much money as a whole.
65% of our town budget.
How much?
65%.
I have one more question for you, statement for you folks, that it's a little bit of a sensitive issue, and that Laura, you and I talked about it once. You know, there has been rumblings at times about, it's taken us 3 visits to do inspections, and, oh my God, look, the roof just caved in up there, and, you know, what kind of an outfit are they running there?
Bad PR is one.
Yeah, that PR is troublesome, you know, occasionally I get called, so I guess I'd just, rather than ignore it, you know, it's the elephant in the room, if you care to address that, or I don't know what you can say about it, but it doesn't make sense to not talk about it.
I think it's like anything else, it's a learning curve. I think, depending on what community you're going to, a lot of issues with inspections, I think we're in a good spot now. Usually when you go into a city, you deal with different inspectional services. Like if you went into the city of Leominster, they have full-time everybody. You know, one of the things that I've talked about with Ron and Laurel, initially there, when they did get started, you probably went through 2 or 3 different, it was kind of a revolving door. So, you know, start, stop, start, stop. That was natural though. And I think now with the current person, he's more of a state, he's got the state process behind him versus a municipal.
Which is his background.
He's very good, he's very thorough, and I think him and Ron now are in a good spot where they both know what
We
they're.
are settling in.
Okay, enough said, if you and him are in a good spot, that's all I need to
We're
hear.
settling in now,
I mean, there were some
understanding
kinks
each other's
initially, but I
processes.
think it had more to do with the fact that there was just too much turnover, and
It's too
one
many
person
delays,
was
yeah.
saying, do it this way, no inspections. Replacement came in, and that person said, no, it shouldn't be done that way, it should be done this way.
Okay. All right,
So,
Processes.
I'm good. If you're good,
Process is set.
if you're good, I'm good.
Yeah.
Just,
It was a
Well, and I
PR.
guess I would argue that, you know, if the building inspector says, I want something done this way, you know, somebody on the outside might say, well, that's a failure. But that's not, that's the process working correctly. You know, and a lot of times they're minor, but they're still code. And he's very good about making sure that we know
you know who
what he
you're gonna keep
needs.
happy, that's the bottom line, so, keep him happy.
I just want the PR in town because this town is notorious for when rumors get out, they explode into nuclear bombs.
yeah.
And
And
I
that's-
really wanna kill that. I
That's
really do.
partly why we're here tonight, and we really wanted to share with you the good side, you know?
Well, that's why I brought it up too, it doesn't make sense to just ignore it.
The,
You know, our social media in this town is incredible, so.
It was almost like, it wasn't working right in 2023, and when things did get off on the ground, because of the, you know, the start-stops, that was problematic. But now, with the current person, it's very.
Okay, good.
Ron's in a good spot.
Yeah, I painted a bad picture, and we've worked through it. And
Okay,
now
great,
We're doing
that's what I wanted to hear.
And
Randy?
Laurel has started a nice newsletter for our homeowners up there, and so they're gonna start seeing more and more up-to-date timelines of what's going on.
Copy the building inspector.
I was gonna say,
And
if you don't
And
mind
copy
doing
us.
that, I'll get Randy next. Any PR that you wanna feed
Okay.
through Rutland,
Okay,
we have a Rutland Times that's out once a month. There's no reason you couldn't put a little propaganda in there about Harmony Place. And, yep, and
I know that at one time we.
Tamika is the
we-
contact for that,
Okay, we had thought about using the cable,
the PEG
show
access.
for, showcasing what was coming, and there was some perceived conflict of
Yeah,
interest because
that's
there might
tough,
be too
you
much
know,
selling.
Right.
But we, you know, I mean, we are partners, you know, in this, so we, you know, I think it would behoove us to share with you any updates that anybody may find
Yeah, put us on your,
beneficial to know.
put the RDIC on your mailing list.
Okay,
Randy,
Is it fair to say that if a building inspector comes up to your building and says, I don't like this 2x, or whatever he does, I have no idea what he did. I don't like this 2x4, you've gotta do it this way instead of this way, right? And he comes back for visit 2, is that free to you, or,
If it fails, is another fee.
so round 2 cost you additional money for him to come?
Correct.
And if you don't make the improvement the way he suggested to pass, and you fail again for round 3, there's another fee for round 3?
I would assume, I've never got that far. Seriously, I've never gone that far, so I don't know if there's another fee.
Okay, we're going with rumors, but I heard there was, he'd been there 2 or 3 times for the same problem that wasn't corrected. So
And that-
again, that's rumors.
That surprises me, because that, I don't remember that ever happening.
Okay.
that's the nuclear bomb I was talking about.
And we're challenged here in this town that we don't have a alternative, an assistant building inspector or an assistant plumbing inspector
Right.
because of financings, right? So you can give us some pushback about, hey, you know, we gotta do it right the first time because we can't wait for the guy to come the second time, and it's not fair for you to do that either.
That's an awful lot of things that Mr. Lang and I had to work out,
Yeah.
because I had to understand his schedule, and sometimes all of a sudden he's working on a Thursday, because something happened on Monday or Tuesday, whatever. And luckily he'll let me know sometimes, so I have to always have to.
yeah,
gotta adjust your
if you could
construction
call
schedule.
Harold, that would be awesome. Just give him, you know, another, you know, have the other guy do the Thursday, Fridays, then we'll be golden.
Yeah, and
we
I
as a
would like
town-
a donation to town for that.
Yeah, I
If you
know,
can come
I
up with $1.2 million, we'll be good.
We have to do something better for you and other builders in town, because there's other builders that are gonna suffer
Yeah.
That's a good point.
We have other
because of that,
subdivisions.
whether we have a shared building inspector to go from Rutland to Holden, or something that we can make it work better for you, but that's our problem. I'm just telling you my concerns.
What you're putting in, we have 2 subdivisions that are 4 times the size of that right now, so.
We, you know, we've
Well, that's not realistic for the
trying to have our
building
own-
inspector to not be available.
Well, they also,
Alright,
he
we're
also,
done, we're
Yeah.
done with it.
Yeah.
his A&Rs too, he's gonna work on.
Well, we'll
One thing-
definitely work with you on, as far as ideas on inspectional things, if it'll help.
Dick, go ahead.
They just brought up something that is our problem, our being the town. The sidewalks do stop and do not go all the way up to the school.
Correct,
Currently.
that's.
So-
Why haven't we, I do know that Joe Buckley way back was trying to get a new road
Yeah.
all the way
Straight
from their
Yeah,
border,
yeah.
all the way to Main Street. I feel that we need to try to push, and
That'd
maybe
be-
Central Mass Regional Planning ought to come in on
We
that
have
for
brought that to the
sidewalks.
selectmen for years, to turn that into a chapter 90 road.
Yeah.
And it
Tom
it's not,
Dufel and I brought it, believe it or not.
I believe
long
it's,
ago?
it's not private anymore, it is a town road now.
No, it's a driveway.
It's driveway, it's never been turned into a road.
Let these poor folks go home.
Yeah.
Okay, well, anyways, I feel for, because that sidewalk thing is, to me, is another thing that's gotta get done, and
Okay.
But when we're talking about
Is
the
Harold going to
beginning
be
of
able
their,
to-
the extension that the town put
Yes.
in, just that
Do
section.
they
Thank you very
switch
much.
around?
for your
Thanks for
time.
coming, it's good to
Yeah.
see
Good to
you.
see everyone.
But that makes it
Alright.
four
I'm sure we'll see you again. And,
I'm sure
You bet.
I'll get that to you hopefully within the
That's
next.
not,
uh,
okay, no, but
Because
I'll, yes, I
just put
agree
a
that, I
freaking
would
thought in
agree
my
that.
brain for crying out loud.
He's been very, very.
Expanding that whole area up there for more, over
No, but it's
55,
not reasonable.
holy crap, I never thought of
And I am,
that.
Well,
my
there's-
You
personal
want a house out of
opinion
this, Dick?
No,
I'll put you up there.
no.
Should be
right by the flag.
I know you would.
We got
definitely,
like 68 of them.
or at least Thursday, but not,
Yeah.
No,
you can't be.
Nice
I
to
like
meet
it
you.
because I can see
Sunday.
Boston from where I
Thanks,
am.
Pete,
Good
good to
seeing
see
you,
you.
Mike.
And I don't know.
All
Take care of
fields
yourself.
and that's it, I
Yeah.
love
You're
the
good,
animals and
Take the
everything.
weekend off.
Nice.
You get better
No,
from
but
I don't
that
mind going
happens
up
a
there
lot
with
in
a
town.
tractor.
Yeah,
Well,
two
that's
Yeah,
all
big
good,
wheels
that's
and,
it.
you know, the telephone
Alright.
game, right?
I know.
But
I know.
in all honesty, this brings me up a whole
think
many
that's why they brought
times.
it up
Central
to
Mass
clear
has
the
always
air.
said, hey, we got grant monies out there, or through Mass Dot or whatever, complete streets.
Well, my argument, and I know we're getting off topic, is we're gonna put in all of Ridge Road, but we can't put in a 100-foot sidewalk? You're
Yeah.
kidding me, right?
Right, for school kids?
For school kids, yeah. We're gonna redo Ridge Road.
All right, what else we got on our agenda?
Let's, we gotta go back.
Thank
Feel
you.
better.
Thank you.
Say hi
We
to
got
Ellen.
1 and 5 done.
Nice to meet you, Randy.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's right, because now you can't be inside either.
Thank you.
All right, I
Have
know.
a good night.
Take care.
Good to see everybody, yeah, take care. Thanks.
I think I can probably.
The RDIC charge is the next one, and,
Can I just add that last one for a
Yep.
second? So, that's not reasonable if the building inspector isn't available for 4 consecutive days.
Same with the plumbing and electrical too. It's
Well,
no
It's
different.
reasonable if that's what his posted schedule is.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, that posted schedule is not reasonable. If they were in on like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but having 4 days to get a permit is not,
That's our whole staff of Rutland though, they don't work on Fridays.
Yeah.
yes, they
If
do.
you're a
I'll
builder
take,
and you can't say, I need a permit for next week.
some of
and
them
then-
work on Fridays, they're not open to the public on Fridays. But in terms of, maybe like the people in the office, but in terms of people doing inspections and stuff, I don't think that that's reasonable, and that they're not available for 4 days.
There's a law, if you call for an electrical inspection, I believe they have 48 hours to.
Randy, we are being filmed.
It's okay.
No, I know, I'm just telling you, I want you to be aware, that's all.
But they have 48 hours to do an inspection. If they don't show up for an inspection in 48 hours, and I may be wrong in the 48 hours, right, then it's an automatic green light. So if there is things in place that if Harold isn't available for 4 days, I believe they can continue to go, or take pictures or something like that, right? So there's something there, but I agree, because the plumbing inspector was gonna be out. He had major surgery done, and then he had no assistant to do it. So what do you do for, the 6 weeks he was out? That's unacceptable as well, too.
They should be able to hire somebody on a basis, or whatever. But anyway, my 2 cents, maybe not for this committee, but for the select board.
That'd be the select board, really, Michelle, that is a huge select board, because I think there's some developers already brought that to the attention of the town, that potentially with the new budget, if there's gonna be a reduction in that type of services, it's gonna be a hindrance on them to do their job, so. All right,
And you
RDIC.
wonder why businesses don't wanna come to town.
Well,
Anyway,
yeah.
yeah. Next
Number
up.
2 is the RDIC charge. I've been through this, and I'm gonna give my 2 cents, and I'm gonna open it up to everybody on the board. This document that was put together and sent to us for a charge, this is just my opinion. Is there a staff I don't know about that's gonna execute all this? Because, excuse me, but the 5 of us is gonna have a heck of a time trying to execute everything that's on here without staff support. We don't have a plan, so I'm curious what the rest of the board's opinion is. I like what some of the stuff that's in here, but it's just insurmountable, it's my mind, of being able to do this with 5 people that aren't
Almost
full-time people.
Almost seems to me, what do they think we are, Shrewsbury?
Well, do you remember what the charge was that we wrote?
It was pretty simplistic, if I
I'll
remember
just
right.
read it to you, and it's, only take a second. Develop and maintain an inventory of available vacant or underutilized properties, including commercial property that can be utilized to advance community and economic development.
That's it.
Assist the town administration with research, preparation, and filing of applications for grants or other funding opportunities in order to stimulate economic development. And then collaborate with the select board and other municipal agencies regarding land use matters, bylaws, and regulations that may impact commercial and industrial business. I frankly don't think that should be part of it, but to me, the first 2 sentences sum it up. And now, if you go and look at what their purpose, what Seth's purpose and mission was, which, granted, I'm sure he cut and pasted this out of, Mass General laws. The mission of the RDIC, to me, this is it. The mission of the RDIC is to promote, encourage, and support the economic development of the town of Rutland. Period. The commission shall, then this 6 bullets. Conduct research into local industrial and economic conditions. I don't know how to do that. I don't know. Develop strategies that expand and strengthen the local economy. Assist and coordinate publicly and privately sponsored development initiatives, which I think we do when people come to us.
Yep.
Market Rutland for industrial, commercial, and related economic
It's an
investments.
advertising company.
Prepare and distribute appropriate promotional and informational materials.
Need a budget for that.
Support job creation, tax-based growth, and sustainable land use planning. So, I don't know,
What you just did for those people that were just here.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go back, and I've been saying it, and no one's gonna listen to me, but I'll say it again, I won't stop. It makes no sense to me to do this until we understand whether the town has any use for their own property.
Yeah.
Right.
And the selectmen don't agree with that, I'm sorry, it's just a waste to not do that. They ain't making any more land.
No,
I
And,
guess-
and I've been catching flack from different people saying, why are we trying to sell, people telling me, because I'm the one that suggested, and why are we trying to sell land, shouldn't we be conserving all the land we have?
What?
I've
Okay.
had people
no, I'm not,
come
I
to me
mean,
personally, like,
this is me just responding to like, seriously? Not, that, the idea is that if we're going to increase business and bring potential people in, we're gonna have to use some of the land that the town owns.
but I think the idea is, what has been suggested to me is that there's enough land underutilized that's not town property, that we should be looking into that rather than trying to, like, the land, we're not making any more land in town, right? So why would we sell town land before we're fully utilizing the land that's already available?
And my only response to somebody about that is, until we get a resolution from the select board of what they wanna do, there is town land that really has no purpose to be saved because it has no access. It's got swamp in it. Some of that stuff should be parceled out, gotten rid of, if we
That's
can sell it and get rid of it, because it has no purpose for us
78
for future.
acres down
Well, I'm just,
behind me.
and Michelle, I'm not attacking, I'm just saying, this is something that will, I think, down the road, we just need to promote out to the public, that there is property that,
Well,
But I think the
I'm
point
gonna,
is, why aren't we looking at the property, I guess my point is though, why aren't we looking at the property that's available? There, right, like, the market, the pharmacy is closed, right? So
No,
if
it's
no,
ready
I
to
know
open,
it's-
getting ready to open. soon.
okay, but how about like 122A, or 122, there's properties on 122 that are vacant, so, that are privately owned, but why aren't we working with private people to get their land sold or developed or somehow, like,
but everybody thinks that business is a panacea, and I don't get it. I mean, if you build, pick whatever it is, and it's a, 50,000 square foot building, you're gonna get the revenue, tax revenue from that, you may employ, let's just say it's a dollar store, you may employ 5 or 6 people. What is that gonna bring to the town in tax revenue? Not
Austin's
significant.
already said that the amount of, when they did his calculation, the amount of physical space exceeds what we have in Rutland in land to be able to offset it with tax revenue, unless you came up with a second tax.
Sorry, I don't read lips, but you're welcome to come in here.
sorry, thank you.
A second tax revenue, tier I'm looking for. And I was surprised at that. Again, I didn't see the calculation, I don't know if it was correct, but the millions of square feet that was needed to be able to make a dent into our tax, our tax income, was like, you can't build that big, facilities in Rutland. So, I don't know.
Yeah. How about the lady that was gonna come tonight but didn't, she was trying to get a piece of property on 68, but it wasn't just right or something
I
was
think
wrong?
that was whose kid was sick.
It was, yeah. But anyways, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking,
Well, do you know what you wanted to do?
pardon?
Do you know what her interest was?
Something about dogs,
It's 501c.
She wants to be I'm gonna say a babysitter, because I can't come up with a better word, for people who have distressed situations in their lives that have pets. For instance, you have a sick person and you're gonna be gone for a
Rescue
while.
dogs.
She's basically looking
Support
to build a
rescue dogs.
kennel.
yeah, okay.
So, you know, I'm sure there's places in town that you can build a kennel.
Yeah. And in the back of my mind, I'm trying to think where would be the best place for, you know, something like that. And to me, for crying out loud, it wasn't down on Rutland,
But
Holden
again,
town
if you
line.
build a kennel, what kind of tax revenue is gonna come from it? I'm not saying
Yeah.
you don't want it. All I'm saying is everybody thinks that's gonna be, oh my God, a business is in town.
Yeah, no.
You just get the tax revenue of the property, the size of the building, that's it.
Right.
But isn't the idea though that if you've got a business in town, that people will come to that business and therefore might
Go to something else.
spend
and-
money, yeah, so if they're
elsewhere.
picking up the dog and they go to the pharmacy if it
Yeah.
reopens, or they
But
start to
again,
have
how does that help the
coffee
town?
at coffee
And I'm-
lands.
I'm not
It
being,
helps support the businesses.
yes, it does, no, I agree with that, but I believe what the selectmen are looking to do is subsidize the budget because they think business is gonna do that.
That's not
And
gonna
it's-
happen.
No.
It's
It's
unrealistic.
a pipe dream.
And
In my
we're,
opinion.
and we're losing the bank too.
I didn't know
Just-
that.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
GFA is closing down.
Where's GFA?
Right next to the marketplace.
Marketplace down on Palmagussit.
Oh, see, I never go, I haven't been on that road in 5 years probably.
And all of a sudden, you know, I think it's next month they're closing it up, I guess, or something like.
I don't know.
March
March.
13th.
And I guess the flip side of that too is that if it's being used for business, it's not gonna be being used for housing kids,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm sorry, folks,
Yeah,
Yes.
No, it's okay, Mike. I just wanna know, what do we wanna do with this? We wanna talk about it some more, because I personally don't
Yeah.
think it's ready to.
So why don't we,
just before I leave, I still believe that this board has a perception problem. And
PR from
well, you call it what you want. And I think that we need to address it, we can't ignore it, because it's only gonna get worse, and it continues to get worse.
That it's
Well,
our
it's-
responsibility to fix the budget,
I'm sorry?
that it's our responsibility to fix the budget.
Well, no, I have a real problem with members of the select board, or at least a member, and I'm not picking on her in particular, but I guess I am, continuing to spread misinformation. You know, somehow that has to be corrected, and now I put together a spreadsheet and documents that I'm working with Michelle,
Tamika.
with Tamika. She's gonna put them on our website and hopefully, one of the social media websites as well. So if you guys wanna talk about that and come up with better ideas, happy to listen.
I hope we feel better.
See ya,
Sure.
thank you.
Well,
Sooner
thank you, and
rather
I'm
than
glad Harmony Place was here tonight. That was awesome, and that's something that we need.
I'm glad Randy was here.
Yeah. We got his 2 cents. And we don't have to pay it back.
How did you do that?
Jesus. So I guess what I'm gonna ask is, do we want to take a shot at redlining this and sending it back? Cause
so why don't, so, that's the man you should ask why he did what he did, right?
oh, but I've already looked at this up. This is all cut and paste from MGL.
So, at the end of the day, why don't we go back with the original charge that we had, that you're relatively, the one that Mike just read,
Yep.
right? It's simple, it's easy. I am tired, absolutely, completely tired with the communication that takes so long to come from there to here.
Yep.
In all committees involved, and we don't need to make their life, the selectmen, any more difficult than it is. We're willing to work here with you, we want some direction, you know, and if we think that will get us there, and totally in agreement with, there's a lot of things we can't do there, and I think it's broad brush for a lot of communities, not necessarily directed toward Rutland, but Seth did the best he could to get started, and you have to start somewhere. But I don't wanna go back and forth 87 effing times with the selectmen, they don't have time, we don't have time, we wanna continue to make forward progress, we do a great job with Harmony Place, and I got really more educated than I anticipated tonight, but at the end of the day, if we're here to focus on that, but yet try to help businesses stay in town, and then figure out what we're gonna do with buildings, you know, on extra property. the property on 122, and I realize I'm straying, but the property on 122, will you still receive the same amount of tax there, whether it's an empty building or a fill building, right? So some people would say, hey, let's go sell a town of Rutland property that's not useful to us to do it, but yet, what Mr. Williams is saying, if there's 78 acres that's landlocked down by him, the town should give it to Dick Williams.
Fine.
Dick Williams shouldn't take it, because why do I wanna pay 78, on taxes on $78, but yet the town is better off to physically do that to get some revenue out of it, right?
Correct.
Or do something with it. There'll never be a house there. I mean, things change, and Julian will put a house down there in the middle of it, you gotta get in with an airplane, but, you know, there's things that could physically happen with that do that. Oh, we're still on camera, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was.
But you do realize, so like, if you put a business in an empty, in an underutilized spot, whether it's on 122 or 68 or wherever, it brings people, whether it's people from town or out of town, to those businesses. And once they're out, you know, if I'm home all day and I'm not gonna necessarily go to Coffee Lands for a cup of coffee. But if I have to go to the bank to do something, I might stop at Coffee Lands to grab a cup of coffee, or go to the diner for lunch. So I think some of that is you just get like natural business.
choices. You have choices.
Yeah, and so you get people passing through, oh, they've got this, they've got that. It's just, it makes it a more vibrant community if you don't have empty buildings, right, or empty lots. And
Well,
I'm
I
not
agree
saying
with
that we have to sell all of the lots of, that was not my intent to say we have to sell all of the Rutland-owned property, but even helping to help people develop their own property if they've got something, or suggest something for them. That's all I'm saying, is helps them with their taxes, helps us.
Even though it may not look it, but when I went to the barber over here, I asked her, I says, what would you do with this piece of property out behind here that the town owns? She says, well, I know, you need a different place for small kids' recreation. Over there, we have to walk across that street. I'd rather have it over here, in a nice spot right there. I said, oh, well, okay, good. What do you hear in town? You don't hear enough of that. And to me, for crying out loud, communication is so terrible in this town.
Which is why I suggested a survey, and when I suggested a survey, I didn't mean just in terms of like a broad, what do you wanna see in town? But survey the businesses, what would you like to see, like what do you need for support? Survey like what amenities people want, or what.
The biggest thing that this town has to happen is we've gotta get that master plan approved with all the suggestions, all the surveys that were done, and then part of that plan, unlike the one that was done in 2000, which was just basically put on the shelf. This one has a committee that's part of the master plan it's, I guess I'd call it its charge, is to execute the goals and requests of that master plan. Now, I don't know how that's gonna work out because it's never been done before. So that
But
committee.
how would that be different than what we're doing?
Well,
Is there
it's
grant
broad
money
based to
or-
the entire town, it's like open space,
But that's what I'm saying, why don't we do that? We're talking about people that's what I'm saying about the survey. If people are asking for more recreation, if they're asking for, you know, I've heard rumblings about recreation, right? Because they've got the pool, the office is in town hall, which isn't always easily accessible. Why isn't there a spot for recreation, right? And for whatever reason, I hear a lot of different reasons why rec isn't all in one spot, and why don't they have their own space? They got kicked out of the community center, and it turned into a senior center where it was a community center for years, and that space was being shared. It's not being shared anymore. So now we're stuffing it in the basement of town hall, which used to be used for a lot of different things, and now you can't use it because they've got their stuff down there. Why doesn't, so I think part of our charge, and whether people agree with me or not, is how do we make space for these other entities, and it might free up space that you can use for other things. Am I wrong? No one is taking it, and we can't just wait for the master plan, Tim, because that might never, we had one in 2000 and nothing's happened. If our master plan never comes to fruition, someone needs
Master
to take
plan's
the,
done. It's just waiting on a committee to, do their job.
well, but until it happens, so someone needs to do something, and why don't we step up and say, look, this, why aren't we
How
doing
old
this?
is the swimming pool? When was that built?
Old.
That was,
That was
I had
before
swimming
we
lessons
moved.
there, Dick.
That,
I
that
did
bill,
too.
that pool was built before I moved to town over 30 years ago.
1950.
Well,
So-
if we're gonna do something like you're suggesting, Michelle, the opportune time to do it is March 22nd. Put something out for residents to pick up and do it. Either a QR code or put something together, because that community expo is the time to do the quote sales pitch or PR if you're gonna do something. Because after that, it's just gonna be a difficult time to get it out in the community without, you know.
After that, you've got the townwide yard sale. We could do a spot on the.
Yep. I'm just saying.
not saying it's ideal. Town meeting,
Can we do,
can you do a survey, like, have a survey link at town meeting, or is that against the rules if it's a town?
Oh, you can't have
survey?
it at town meeting.
No, not at town meeting, but just like available for people to,
Pick up and take home and then.
You'd have to ask Anita on that, I'm not sure. It's-
no, I think I have to ask the moderator that.
No,
Yep, the moderator owns town meeting. I learned that the hard way.
yeah, but are you in control of documents that get handed out? Wow, I thought that was the clerk's job. I just learned something new. I did not know that. I thought the clerk was in charge of all that with voting
as
and.
long as it's not contentious, I let people put whatever they want there.
Okay.
Or hand out, and then
Well, that's
sometimes
good
if
to
it's
know.
contentious, they can go out farther from the entrance and do things there.
Alright, I didn't know that. Good to know.
But,
So can we talk about social media, right?
Well, before we go down that road, let's back up, because we're on the charge. I wanna get that handled. I like what Randy says. I think,
I make a motion.
that's what I was gonna ask for. You took the words right out of my mouth.
So, you and
I
Mike,
can talk to Mike, yep.
and take the charge that's already there, give it a little bit of adjustment to the best of your ability. I would make a motion to send that back to the selectmen with, this is the charge we think we should be, we can't handle the charge you have. Say something nice.
Oh, no, no, no.
Respectful. We'd like to start with this, would you consider this, and have dialogue back. We don't necessarily need to go to the meeting and voice our concerns unless they really want
I
us to.
think we're gonna have to, because if you don't do the dual meetings, you don't have an opportunity to answer any questions that come up during the
Discuss
select board.
yeah.
That's
They
my
can't-
opinion.
They can't send us a question back,
no.
why can't they?
They
Why,
can, don't get me
But
wrong.
then we still have to meet again to discuss it and agree on it, like, why
So
not
if we
just
had a
all be in
joint
the
meeting-
same room?
Yeah,
if you
And
had
we did it
a
at the
joint
same time.
meeting with that only in a room, not recorded, and
No,
just
that's
everybody to sit around
It
here
needs to- why
and
not
have a
record it?
discussion and get to the facts.
the select board
And
has to
lay
be
it out.
recorded by Rutland policy, unfortunately. We don't have to, our
No,
policy
I
is
mean, Tamika can take notes, but that's good enough
So
for
I make a
that.
motion,
okay,
and if we need a joint meeting, we'll do a joint meeting. Need somebody to second it.
But we need to
What's
all
your motion?
agree on whatever they put
to
together.
send the original charge to the select board.
After you
Gussied
and
up.
Mike gussied up and send a
Sorry.
note of why we don't,
I
Yep.
think we
Think
should
that's
all
what-
agree on what they gussy up with,
can we do that via an email, or do we need to?
no, cause
No,
it would be.
can't, it's open meeting, it's a violation of open meeting law.
But if it happens to be done before our next meeting, we can certainly schedule a quick meeting to just
I
discuss
don't
that.
have a problem with that, cause just, it'll be one topic, short
You
meeting.
need to read it.
We
You
can't, you
can
But
can't
I'm
disseminate
distribute
not-
it,
I'm not- I
you
They
can't
can
just discuss
disseminate
it.
See, and too bad, because I'll be down in Florida.
You can Zoom.
Again, we're gonna talk about FaceTime with you, and a new
You
tool.
can Zoom.
I don't
He
think
has,
so.
he has an Apple phone, so we can do FaceTime.
And I'm leaving it home.
When are you going to Florida?
Tomorrow.
No. I think it's either February 18th or 19th, depending on the weather.
So can you guys get it done next week or
I have to ask Mike, I wanna see how he feels,
two?
cause,
Okay.
I mean, I'm working on it.
You can do it tomorrow.
And if not, we have a quorum without Dick and you just
Yeah.
don't get a say if you don't want to.
Well, that's all right, my term is running out. and-
No, we discussed this in the last,
Stay
committee
focused,
meeting.
Oh.
focus.
Yes,
No, no.
so,
So if you and Mike could
I got a
possibly do
motion,
it before
I
they
got a
go.
second on, gussing that up, and the
How
discussion
is
on
this
it.
wording, how is that worded though, because it was just the two of you and I suggested a change. Cause I
That could
said
be-
that we should agree
That could
on
be a
it.
friendly amendment.
I would propose a friendly amendment to. We
Get our
vote, we
approval.
vote on the final, yeah, we vote on what you and Mike put together.
Okay. So
Not
I
that I
would,
don't trust you, but
that's fine. I'm fine with that. If I'm not being checked, it's a issue. So my suggestion is if Mike and I put something together before it went anywhere, send it out to the committee to look at, but not discuss.
No,
And
no,
then, no, we can't discuss it.
but we could have a quick Zoom meeting and just.
That's what that was gonna be the next session, Randy. Send it out, and if people feel there needs to be a meeting, that can be, hey, I've looked it over and I think we need to have a quick meeting about this. Then I can set a meeting up, we can come in, we can discuss what needs changed, vote on it, bless it, and then send that to select board.
We have to have a meeting to vote on it anyway. To
Yes,
discuss it.
because, the friendly amendment has not just said send it to him.
Correct.
So do you accept that friendly amendment?
yes, sir.
Okay. All right, I've got a motion, a friendly amendment, and I got a second. Any other discussion? Okay, take a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, 4-0, send, I will talk with Mike about that. Because I don't have the original document in Word or PDF or anything.
The original, like the
Charge.
small one, you mean?
The charge, I don't have the original charge. I'll have to go back and look, but I
The
don't.
last one or the original one from like a long time ago?
No, the last one that we sent in when we split up between EDC and,
I think I've got it. If I've got it, I'll send it to you.
Please do.
I think I do, yeah.
Okay, let's go on to, item number 3, which is town-owned property. I'm in for possible marketing those 2 properties on 68, if I remember correct.
Oh, which folder, where is it?
I guess I'm gonna ask, do we wanna discuss that tonight? Do we wanna get into the weeds on that?
No. At the moment, because do you realize also, you gotta watch out for the 200-foot buffer zone,
Yeah.
in case you did not know there was a buffer zone.
Because the reason, I put this on the agenda,
Water.
but the more I thought about this, and you actually brought it up at the select board meeting, I really think, and Randy had said the same thing, and so had Mike, we need to find out what's the town's needs before we just start going out and selling stuff. What's the town needs? I get that, but we can't survey the town employee, the town department heads, can we?
Why not?
We have no authority over them.
Well, find
We
out
don't
what
have
the heck they're
authority,
thinking
so
though,
we
that's
can't
for sure.
force them to send something back, but you bet your bippity that if I were a department head and someone's asking me what my needs are and how can we help you get your needs, if they don't give me anything, they can't complain at any meeting, cause we can come back and say, you know,
Okay.
Susie Q and XYZ department never said they needed that, so how do we know?
I'm fine with that.
Am I wrong?
No, you're
No,
not.
you're right.
You're right. I just,
Town of Holden, and I've said this before for 61A properties, but I think it could be simulated the same way for this potential use of, and I can get that from Jim Dunn, my neighbor,
yep.
who has got this form that we could adapt a little bit as a committee, and we could send it to all those people, but we as a committee could evaluate the properties individually, and it would have a score sheet. And
Talked about
it may not necessarily, you and I may not be on the same page, but we both could do it and come to a compromise of,
Yeah,
hey, the yes and no's of, is there town water, is there town sewer, is there good electricity? Do you think there should be a recreation field? And you may say on 68, no, I don't wanna be on such a fast road. And I would say, well, it's perfectly flat. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and you send it out and see what other people think. I'm okay with more minds.
It's just, it takes time to do that, you know, amongst ourselves of getting to it, but once we have it done, we can use that for other purposes.
Correct.
Similar to, when a 61A property comes up, I think the Ag Commission should spearhead that we've been a little slow on. but yet that same form, they're doing it in Holden right now for 14 acres on River Street. And the only one that knows how to fill the form out is Jim Dunn, right? The rest of the committee is new enough that they haven't done it yet. So he's gotta fill out that form to physically do it. And there's other factors in there of, do you have, other state properties around it? And that particular property actually does, right? So that gives it a different factor, right? I mean, the property that Dick's talking about on 68 is relatively close to the rail trail. Do you put up a visitor center
Right.
or a train station because that's where it
Or an
was?
advertising booth for Rutland there, for people when they get on the rail trail, they pick something up, hey, look what I can do in Rutland.
You know, so there's a lot of things that could work there that,
Yeah.
you know, is friendly, doesn't make us money, but yet it invites the people to get you off your couch to go get your cup of coffee and go to the rail trail because they wanted to walk a safe area, right? So, little things like that I think we can do, so if you remind me, I'll get that from Mr. Dunn.
The biggest thing in the world for crying out loud, Route 68, and they were gonna do it in Hubbardston on Route 62 and 68.
Yeah.
And one of the planning board members snuck in a doggone thing that nobody could touch that piece of property. They were gonna bring in a cheap gas station, Dunkin' Donuts was supposed to go up to, and
At that
everything else.
corner?
In that corner,
Oh boy, that'd have been great.
But
yes,
they already have a gas station right there.
in town, but it's too expensive. And what is the problem with Rutland? Their gas is too damn freaking expensive for
Or
crying out
the two
loud.
stations, yeah.
I go all the way to Leominster if I have to, or out to Ware for
Gardner's
goodness.
actually cheap too.
Gardner is not cheap. It's finally down to $2.99, but,
He spent the $3 that you saved to drive
oh, you betcha. No, well, the wife
That's the
has to go
principle of the
elsewhere.
thing.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. But to
So-
me, for crying out loud, I begged tooth and nail for that type of a situation.
So I
on
think
68.
three, the way we handle it is, we get that form from Randy, from Mr.
Yeah.
Dunn, actually. And then, because I've thought about this a long time, about getting that 61A property categorized. So when it does come up to select board, and
We've
we've
got an
all seen
answer.
this, well, we don't know what to do with it, why do we need to buy it? Well, here we go, the RDIC's got a reason that that piece of property that we scored needs to be purchased by the town or not purchased. There's two sides to it, you don't
Right.
need to buy it or you do need to buy it. So,
Or it could even be a strong maybe, depending on the situation at the
Yep.
time.
and with the survey that you're talking about, maybe that piece of property was discussed by the fire department that they need that for a north station. All that stuff's out there.
And that's what that was right there.
Oh, north station? for the
North
fire
Station
department.
on 122, and it was 12 point something acres, but it's a swamp. And Sally Hayden, Tom Rochelle, and myself went out there to visit it. And Tom said, well, we could probably sneak it in there, but I'm probably not going to. But that was a long time ago when Sally Hayden was,
Yeah, but things have changed
yes.
over time of where you can put things, you know.
Well, not
work
too-
with them.
not
They've
too
actually
far
got
from-
more wet than they have dry,
Yeah.
that's the problem. A lot of the wetlands, like, we're gonna find out when the planning board is Noble Hill, that wetlands has probably come up about 200 feet from where it was. And some of those houses will no longer be available to be built because the wetlands has absorbed that property. But
Will we ever be in a position to do what you did to Harmony Place to the Cleve Blairs of the world in regards to Bryce Lemon? You said you're gonna build that out in XYZ time, but if you don't, give us $3,000 a lot
the
toward
way
taxes.
MGL is no, the MGL, again, maybe we can, we'd have to ask the attorneys, but there's nothing in the subdivision regulations with an MGL that can force a time frame put on it.
How do we do it?
It doesn't say you can, it doesn't say you have to, but does it say you can't?
That would be an attorney question, I can't say that, because
Yeah, but
I
I'm
do
just-
know that you cannot, when you approve a subdivision, Dick, what's that, definitive?
Yeah.
You do definitive, that subdivision's approved for life, unless it's, I'm having a brain dead.
Sunset clause?
No, there can't be.
No.
It's not allowed. You have to redact it, what's the word I'm looking for, what we use?
Rescind it?
Rescind,
The
yeah.
only thing you can do is rescind, and then the SMGL has specific guidelines for rescinding a subdivision. So literally, once it's approved, It can sit on the books for decades, centuries.
But what
Yeah.
are but we should check, what are the guidelines for rescinding?
That is, we've been through that a few times, and it comes down to how the mortgages are set up on the properties. Like if one person has all the and again, I'm not an expert, this
Yeah.
is really the attorney, but my understanding is if one person has all the mortgages on the property, that could be considered rescission. But if you have individual mortgages on each one of the parcels, you've got a 0 chance in heck of rescinding that subdivision.
Oh, because they'd all be earmarked to a
Correct.
specific person.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. So, again, we have never walked down that path, we've talked about it on a couple of them, but have not had that.
Then tell me, how did Noble Hill roads get into the list of roads?
That's a good question.
And none
because
were ever built, and plus none of that, we have not accepted them. How did they get in there? But
It's on the CMRPC list.
yeah,
Okay.
But maybe you just need, maybe that's a clerical error and it needs to be removed.
And that's what the planning board's gotta take a look at, cause that CMRPC road list.
and also,
Getting off topic.
it could
So,
be town
for number
clerk.
3, we wanna put that on the back burner until we can walk through A, a survey, and B, that, I don't wanna use the word report, listing, how we're gonna list out. Cause we talked about that earlier, about scoring, and it was insurmountable at the time, and we didn't have a good list from the assessor of all the 61A and B, if I'm not mistaken, cause,
A,
I think we
B,
have a listing.
61,
I think we do now, but I
61A
don't-
and 61B. Yes, and I went and I had maps all made up and
Yeah.
everything else for crying out loud, and I'm done.
well, I need, okay,
I'll give you all the maps that I have.
thanks. That's what, because I'll scan them as PDFs and get them in some type of non-fire file in Rutland.
Yeah.
Let's go to number 4, forest management, possible interest from the Conservation Commission. I'll take comments and then I'll give you mine.
I want it out of the hands of Concom
And,
and into the hands of the Ag Commission, because trees are agriculture, number one. Number two, I feel that because of some knowledge that I've had in the past, I don't want anything to go to Concom and the Board of Health. Stay away from them.
Michelle, any,
I just think that,
And we also, excuse me, one sec, we also have a land protection fund count. I think there's close to $70,000 in it right now.
oh, it's managed by the Ag Commission, if I'm not
And it's
mistaken.
managed by the Ag Commission, and interest is put on it, and it can't be taken out by the select board.
That's for purchase of land, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. Michelle, any, because
yeah,
what I brought this up at the interest of the Conservation Commission, because they wanted to take it out of the hands of the RDIC and them handle it.
yeah, and I'm okay with them doing it. I think just because, I don't know, if you have concerns about the people on the board, that's a whole separate issue, but you don't just shovel it to another committee.
No.
Well, it's a letter that they wrote that I had concerns about. Because they didn't want to have anything to do with forestry, it was only underbrush and invasive species of weeds. They covered nothing
On cutting,
on any type of timber or
management,
forestry.
or anything else.
But
That
I
was the only
thought, I
problem
thought
I
they said that they were interested in looking at the forest management, no?
Yeah, but then
Forest
what their
management.
letter says didn't address anything about forest management, address invasive species and handling underbrush. I could be wrong, if anybody else read it, please
But
tell me I'm
sometimes
wrong.
isn't
No.
underbrush, but sometimes isn't underbrush forest management, so to stop.
It's part of it,
Certain degree.
yeah, it's part of it,
Wildfires, right?
yes.
Well, that's also why DCR does some fire.
And I would also argue that I'm not
Control.
sure that the two of you are eligible to even vote on it because you have an interest in serving on the other board.
Because we know
You're
what's
on
what.
Ag Commission.
Right, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel.
That's okay, and I'm just telling you how I feel, I don't have an issue with Concom doing it, they stepped up and,
Yeah, and my is I have no problem if they wanna take on the complete task of forest management, but that's not what I read in their letter.
Have they ever done anything with it? Now, Randy
Why don't we ask
has,
for a
I
joint
mean,
meeting with them
long
and
time
talk to them
ago I
openly about
did,
it?
I just, so,
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
What did she suggest?
Joint meeting with the Concon.
If we are in a
what
position
their
where
intent-
we have to
Or-
ask all departments to make a cut of X%, whether it's this year or any other year, by
They had
being
trouble with
part
audio,
of the
didn't they?
district,
That sounds like.
Oh,
text.
that's coming in from Zoom, okay.
maintain our.
Let me ask a
ability
question,
to
does it make sense? I don't think,
Dispatch if we need.
I know we have to do a joint session, but I would say we just have ask to be on the beginning of their meeting as one topic and not the whole.
yeah, I don't wanna.
I would agree with that.
They meet on Tuesdays, which is opposite of the planning board, and I don't think the AgCom has any meetings on Tuesday.
Yes, we do.
We do, on the same as the Concon?
It's always the third,
Which Tuesday does Concom meet?
first and third.
Yeah, and you can meet on the third though, don't you?
Yeah.
So why don't we talk to the Concon, and I know,
That would be
we're
the
early in
17th.
February, so we missed their meeting, which was this Tuesday, but asked to be on a,
No, if it's
Do-
the third Tuesday,
Yeah,
it's
but
the
there's-
17th.
but they meet on the same that same third Tuesday.
What time do they meet?
Oh.
6, don't they do?
I
Yeah,
think they do start at 6.
So we could do 6 meetings, we don't, Ag Commission doesn't start typically until 7.
okay.
If we ask to be first on their agenda,
Yeah,
if you want us to go.
that would be on the 17th.
February 17th
At
at
what time?
6.
At 6?
I believe that's when their meeting.
Yeah,
typically
that's
is.
usually when it,
I mean,
And does yours start at 7? Is that what
usually,
you're saying? Yeah.
Typically, yeah.
yeah.
Let me quick sec. I just looked at theirs last night.
I can see my wife now. You're going where? Oh, you're
But the
going.
day before you're leaving?
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, well, just tell her we still love you, Dick. That's the reason why.
Yeah,
All right,
we need a little send off.
yeah. Oh, this stupid thing won't let me go back.
But I can bring your concerns if you wanna pack your bags and make your wife happy.
Mhm.
Conservation, they meet at 6 PM. Okay, so we'll ask for February 17th. I'll
Now,
get into,
why do I have RDIC on the 17th?
of February?
Yeah, in my calendar now.
You
I know, but-
anticipated it? Cause I didn't.
No, because I thought we were gonna meet in joint with the RDIC,
I'm
come
looking right
on,
now.
the other group for Harmony Place.
Oh, the
Chris,
HPDD?
HPD, yeah,
Oh, has that been set up yet?
no.
I don't have anything.
I just, if I don't put it in here, it's not like I'm gonna show up, it just happens to be there. I gotta deliver turkey pot pies that day, and I gotta do.
So,
I don't have anything on the Rutland calendar.
if
on
it
Sunday.
hasn't been, I don't have anything either, so if it hasn't been set up yet, I'd say let's do
Okay.
this one and try to do a different day for HPDD. But yeah, that's right, we were supposed to ask for a joint meeting.
Yeah, with Chris, we'll talk about, what was
Yeah,
going on.
it was supposed to be February 5th, Thursday, HPDD board.
Oh, that ship has sailed, because,
Yeah.
oh, they were supposed to come here, maybe?
Yeah, I don't remember, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't
They
think
didn't
they
get
did.
invited.
I didn't invite him, that's on me.
Yeah.
So,
Um,
let's do the 17th with, because this is an important topic in my mind, and I
We
think
we gotta ask.
yeah, I gotta send an
We gotta-
email to Melissa.
We gotta post a meeting?
Yeah, well, Tamika will take care of all that, but I wanna get communications with Melissa first, that it's okay that we have
put on
us
their agenda first.
put on their agenda. If she says yes, then the next step is have Tamika post a dual meeting, and then Melissa will put us on their agenda. So, that's an email I've gotta get to Melissa.
And then should we set up a different date to do the HPDD
What?
review board?
I was gonna ask, what, I mean,
Is
What do we
the
wanna do with
review,
that?
was the review board supposed to be looking at what we just talked about when they were here?
So we really don't need to do it then.
yeah, that's what I was getting at,
I
right?
think we do need to do it, because what is the
Yeah.
review board doing if we're not paying attention to that?
It's their jurisdiction,
That's
I
our,
think.
I think
For-
that's part of our responsibility is the oversight. HPDD review board is part of the oversight.
Yeah,
So why don't we bring the
Yes, thank you for the
PDD
public
review
input.
board.
in when they come back with their proposal in a few weeks?
That's what I was
So why don't we
thinking.
have it next meeting? right, why don't we have our next regular scheduled meeting, and they could have, Peter could have that stuff back to us by then, and then they could be here to help us negotiate that or push back on that a little bit, maybe, is that a
March 5th.
suggestion?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
won't
Will you be
on
here
it.
March fifth, Dick?
No, he'll be gone,
Yeah.
but he'll be zooming in.
You're not on the review board though, right, or are you?
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, we can
Are
just,
any of the grandkids coming with you?
we,
I can teach them how to use a computer, you probably know more than
we
me.
can just call and we can put you on speakerphone.
Yeah.
We don't need to zoom you in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can
don't
just
need to
speakerphone in.
We can just,
So you could be sitting there with some wild turkey and
Hey,
just letting her
focus, focus. Jesus,
Oh my
jump
God.
into here.
Okay, mister, I made comments about a developer. So March 5th, 6 PM, and I need to make sure, do we want to invite the entire HPD board, or we want to have just Chris Senical, our chairman, here?
I think the entire board, because the entire board hasn't been here, been
Yes.
together since the project started.
Haven't they reviewed any of the,
Nope. We have not had a meeting in years.
We came back and had, there was an updated one that we had to vote on.
About 2 years ago.
Yeah, and that's it.
let me ask, just because you and I are on the planning board, who's doing the checks on infrastructure being completed correctly up there off the drawings? I got a problem with that as a chairman.
Right, so that's why we need to meet, because
I
we
did
haven't
problem
had
with
any
that.
communication.
Okay, Chris Seneca, send him an email that
Yeah.
on March 5th, he and his board needs to meet with the RDIC.
Well, here's one for you. Put it in the back of your mind for planning board. Town engineer, our engineer, Emerald Road, visit the site. Didn't we approve that subdivision?
I don't know.
Of course we did it on
I'll
Emerald Road.
I'll wait till Tuesday, cause right now I wanna get through the RDIC.
I'm just saying that,
I've got other, anyhow, let's keep going. Alright, so that takes care of 3 and 4. I'll get with Melissa, that'll take care of the Conservation Commission and the question on the forestry management. And then Chris's actually ties into the Harmony Place number 5 that we didn't have, so this is really number 5.
Yep.
Okay, I like asking this question, which I can. Is there anything anticipated within 48 hours that we have discussed? I can't do that anymore, I'm being told, so.
you can't.
Nope, Nita said that's not acceptable for open meeting. So,
So much for open meeting.
resident inquiry, so we'll have her back on that. Just looking that over, I think it's a great idea, because I think somebody's been, from the planning board perspective, I think somebody's been trying to get in that property for a while to do something, if I remember right. Maybe I'm wrong. That 369 East County Road, I thought there was some other residents, but I can't remember.
Where was that?
It's 369 East County Road, so it's 122.
East County Road is
It's
68.
68, I'm sorry.
And it was 3 what?
369.
East County
There
Road,
goes.
map 13. Second, map 12.
Come on in.
Yeah,
We're not done yet, but if you,
I haven't got it.
Camera's rolling.
actually,
Okay.
I'll, because we're done,
Okay,
I
which
don't wanna-
property was it?
it's 369, we can talk about this after, because this is off,
Whereabouts is that?
I don't know, I have no idea.
369, see, I don't have the, I have, lot 10.
I will ask if we want to adjourn, because we have finished our agenda, and I do not wanna push outside of it.
Alright,
And one we can't talk about because the resident's not here, and I don't really wanna get outside of that.
Yeah, Yeah, so we could put that on the next agenda.
Yep, I've already got listed to make it add to agenda.
Are we gonna have, invite that person to the next meeting, or is that person anticipating coming to the next meeting?
I think that she had already.
I would ask Tamika.
Already,
I
so
thought she
she'll
did.
never come to the next meeting? Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect, then we're done with that.
yep.
I'll make a
So,
motion to adjourn.
do I hear a second? I got a second, any discussion?
Nope.
Do I have a vote?
Yep,
Aye.
Aye,
done.
we've got a quorum, that's 3 of 5.
Yeah.
Meeting is.
Do I hear aye, Randy, for adjournment?